Okay, part 2, fucking take 3. I'm gonna save my analysis for the end, yeah, there is no way I'm gonna get through this whole script in this one take, I just want to continue on because, and keep in mind some of the things I said that I think Gotti was getting at, because he does kind of reinforce some of those points in the next few sequences here. So, yeah, I'll leave that as my prelude, and yeah, here we go. Autopsy room, next day. Mulder enters the swing doors holding a folded newspaper. Scully stands next to an operating table in scrubs. On the table is the body of Larry Johnson. Mulder: well, the Bureau's collective underwear is really up in a bunch on this one. The word from Skinner is that the director wants hourly reports until the thing is cleaned up. You should see it. It's like a Fed convention around here. They've already come up with the official story. He unfolds the newspaper, showing Scully the front page. Scully, reading: assassins gun down FBI agent, terrorism not ruled out. What terrorism? Mulder: my sentiments exactly. Scully: actually, at this point, it's probably as good an explanation as anything else. Mulder: I take that to mean the autopsy is provide less than illuminating element. Sorry, I misread that. I take that to mean that the autopsy is proved less than illuminating. Scully: Agent Lawrence Johnson died at 2:19 p.m. yesterday of a massive heart attack. Heart attack? Well, that explains it. Explains what exactly? How this could kill him? Mulder holds up an evidence bag containing what appears to be a .44 used to shoot Larry Johnson. He pulls the gun out, points it in the air, pulls the trigger. Out of the barrel pops a little flag with the word "bang" on it. Scully: but weren't there gunshots? The agents on the scene seem to be having trouble remembering little details like that. What's more, the security camera on that floor apparently began malfunctioning about the time the terrorists entered the building. Started picking up television signals. All of them? Mulder shrugs. Mulder, pointing to Johnson's body: so what do we tell Skinner about this? I'm not sure yet, but I think Larry Johnson saw the gun and believed he had been shot, and the shock killed him. He was, for lack of a better expression, tricked to death. It's not exactly common, but it's happened before. She lifts the sheet off Johnson's body to show Mulder the body. Scully: and then there's this. Scully takes a pen light and, opening Johnson's eyelids with her fingers, shines it into Johnson's dead eyes. The pupils shrink as the light hits them. Scully points the light away. The pupils expand. Johnson's POV. Looking up from the table, we see Scully shine the light down again and then move it away. Mulder: that. Mulder: when we got to the sense of the shooting, or the scene of the shooting, whatever it was, you clearly recognized Larry Johnson. Do you have some idea what all this is about? Mulder: meet me back in my office. Johnson's POV. Still looking up, we see Mulder walk out of view. Scully looks down at Johnson's body, then pulls the sheet back over him, covering the camera. Mulder's office. Mulder and Scully are watching a series of videotapes on a small television. Mulder: about 7 years ago, Johnson and his partner, Ricky Smith, were following a fraud case, late-night infomercials for a psychic hotline. On the television screen, gaudy red letters announce, "The Mystery Line," along with an 800 number. The words dissolve into the image of a blandly handsome blonde man sitting at a desk. next to a heavy black telephone. Blonde man on the video. What lottery numbers will make you rich? How can you make that someone special notice you? What is your purpose in life? When will you die? The mystery line has the answers to all your questions. The man holds up the receiver and looks at the camera, appearing almost to stare through the screen. Blonde man on the video. Call now if you really want to know. Mulder hits eject and fishes for another tape, popping into the VCR. Mulder, I was with Violent Crimes at the time. Johnson and Smith called us in when they visited the homes of some of the Mystery Line's clients. On the television screen, a handheld camera documents the interior of an apartment. Several FBI agents stand over the body of a middle-aged woman, her dead eyes open and staring. Near her open hand is a telephone receiver. In the background, we can hear television static. Mulder. 11 people, mostly in the Midwest, were found like this. No apparent cause of death. Television on. Phone off the hook. Still connected to the mystery line. And check this out. Mulder points to the television screen. An agent takes a pen light and inspects the dead woman's eyes. The pupils contract as the light hits them. Mulder. Look familiar? Scully. Larry Johnson. So what was the deal with the mystery line? Mulder. Johnson and Smith never made any headway. The phone number was traced back to an answering machine in an abandoned warehouse in Arizona. None of the victims were actually charged for the hotline services, so there was no way to follow the money. Mulder points to the television screen again. There, that's Ricky Smith. On the screen, a rotundish man with a neatly trimmed beard is giving orders. At one point, he angrily turns towards the camera. Get that thing out of my face! Mulder, he had a reputation as an arrogant SOB, but he is actually a hell of an agent. Tenacious. And stops the videotape. Scully. So where is Ricky Smith now? Mulder. Nobody knows. We were taken off the case when it was clear it was going nowhere. I heard Smith and Johnson had some kind of blow-up. Smith resigned not long after, and nobody has heard from him since. Mulder takes a slip of paper out of an evidence bag and hands it to Scully. Mulder, the man who shot Larry Johnson. This was found in his pocket. It's a receipt slip. The old kind that requires a sheet of carbon paper underneath to make a merchant's copy. On it is stenciled the same name of that merchant, which Scully reads aloud. Scully, Illusions of Empire Magic Shop. Mulder, there isn't anything else on this. There isn't anything to this. Mulder, check the back. Scully turns the receipt over. On the back, in a neat but somehow antiquated hand, is a map showing a few roads, but there are no names or compass directions. At one crossroads is a box labeled Yellow House. Scully, this doesn't tell us a whole lot, Mulder. Well, it's all we've got to work with right now, Scully. Skinner wants this wrapped up. A SAP, an FBI agent getting gunned down at his desk doesn't look too good on recruiting day. Supercut 2, Illusions of Empire, Michigan. Magic Shop. Illusions of Empire is a dank little shop that looks and smells like an old basement. Shelves bow under the weight of boxes with labels like glass box penetration, smashed watch gimmick, nest O balls, and bloody needle gag. One wall of the shop is devoted entirely to ventriloquist dummies. Mulder takes one down. The label reads, "My name is Laffo," and clumsily manipulates the mouth. He fucking totally gets these characters, man. Mulder, mumbling through clenched teeth. Hi there, kids. Hi there, kids. Dummy's POV, close up on Mulder's face, his comic smile. The dummy's head turns, showing Scully looking at Mulder the way a mother looks at a misbehaving child. Mulder puts Laffo back on his shelf. Illusion of Empire's shopkeep is standing behind the counter. He looks like some small-time hustler out of an old gangster movie. Greasy hair, thin mustache, smoking an unfiltered cigarette, down to a nub with another one behind his ear. Shopkeep. How can I help you folks today? Mulder flashing his ID. We'd like to ask you about a purchase that was made here. Sure, officer. He squints at Mulder's ID. Muldoon? Mulder. Scully hands him the receipt. We'd like to know who made this purchase and what they bought. The shopkeep looks at the blank receipt, then back up at the agents with a suspicious smile. You're kidding, right? There ain't nothing on this. Don't look like they bought anything. All the same, says Scully. Shopkeep, well, I guess I could check the back. I keep copies of the receipts for taxes. Don't want to get in trouble with the feds, right? The shopkeep winks, jots down the receipt number, and disappears into the back. Mulder, meanwhile, is goofing around with a miniature guillotine. He sticks his index finger through the slicing hole and slams the plunger down, sending the small but obviously sharp blade towards his finger. It appears to pass right through. Mulder wiggles his finger and smiles. Pretty cool, right? Scully, yep, pretty cool. Shopkeep emerges from the back with another slip of paper. This must be your lucky day. I found your receipt. I'd say it's about 4 years old. He shows the merchant's copy of the receipt to the agents. Looks like they bought a gag gun, you know, the kind you pull the trigger and a little flag pops out. Bang. Mulder takes the receipt on it, above the words, Gag Gun 1. In the same oddly ancient script as the map is an address. Scully, why didn't this address show up on our receipt? Shopkeep, did you try this? He takes the original receipt. Producing a lighter from his shirt pocket, the shopkeep places its flame in view of the paper. Brown lettering fades into view. The address, 222 Main Street, Crampton, Ohio. The words, Gag Gun 1, and at the bottom, if you really want to know. At this, the agents exchange a look. Shopkeep, invisible ink. Hokey as it gets. Scully, that doesn't make sense. Forensics tested the paper for chemicals. They would have found traces of the ink. The shopkeep lights another cigarette. That's why they call it magic. Toots. The shopkeep starts to notice the original receipt, or starts to hand the original receipt back to the agents, then notices the map on the back with the words Yellow House. A broadly cunning look develops on his face. Yellow House, huh? Mulder, what does that mean? Does this mean something to you? It's probably nothing, but there's the saying among magicians, not all of them, just certain magicians, the ones that are a little kooky, if you know what I mean. Scully, what are you saying? Shopkeep, I never want to live in Yellow House. Mulder, what does it mean? He takes a long drag off his cigarette, blowing the smoke out of his nose. Dunno, I'm not that kind of magician. Mulder and Scully take back the receipt and head for the exit. At the door, Mulder is practically knocked over by a clown, its face made up into a smile of torturous proportions. The clown mimes brushing itself off before heading into the shop. Mulder is visibly shaken. Scully, you're not one of those people who's scared of clowns, are you? Inside the shop, the clown turns towards Mulder and Scully, slowly and very deliberately. It jams a finger way up into one of his clown nostrils. It's almost an obscene gesture. Well, Scully, I am now. Cut to rural Route 7, Ohio. In the car, Route 7 traverses a particularly flat and featureless section of Ohio, a pretty flat and featureless state to begin with. Mulder and Scully pass mile after mile of cornfields, mom and pop gas stations, and sun-blistered farmhouses. Mulder, I don't know about you, Scully, but I got a funny feeling about this. Like I've been down this road before. Scully looks out the window. There doesn't appear to be anything about this region that would jog anyone's memory of anything. Scully, while numerous forms of deja vu type experiences have been documented, some are related to the states of epilepsy or psychopathology. One of the more common varieties is a paramnesia, a split-second distorting of the short-term memory, sort of a mental hiccup. Another form, Mulder, interrupting. I don't think it's deja vu, Scully. It's more like something I already know, rather than something I've already experienced. It's very hard to put into words. Scully, pointing ahead. Mulder, do you see that? Mulder's eyes follow Scully's finger. With the flatness of the land, they can see miles in the distance ahead, apparently on the same road as a house. It's a house. Scully, it's a yellow house. Our yellow house? Scully checks the map on the back of the magic shop receipt. Scully, it's hard to tell from this, but it could be. Scully looks up at the yellow house again. Heat waves coming off the asphalt of Route 7 distort the view, making it appear watery. Scully squints to make out the house. Mulder, shouldn't we be getting closer? Mulder also squinting. Aren't we? Despite the fact that they are doing 10 over the speed limit, they don't seem to have closed the gap at all. I don't think so. As they talk, their car passes through a copse of trees, a rarity in this barren area, and for a moment, the house is out of their view, and when they emerge from the trees, the yellow house is right on top of them. Mulder slams on the brakes. The car comes to a skidding stop in front of the yellow house. Mulder. That was interesting. The yellow house is small, but from the outside appears well maintained. The front porch is painted white with flowery accents. Under the front door is a fancy welcome mat. Mulder and Scully knock on the door. There's no answer. Mulder tries the handle. It is unlocked. Ah, one of those neighborhoods, remarks Mulder. Inside the yellow house, they enter. The inside of the yellow house is as uninviting as the exterior is welcoming. Dark, musty, and overwhelmingly claustrophobic. It looks more like a nest than a home. Hello, calls Mulder. Mulder nearly trips over a bunch of tin cans that are stacked near the front door. He holds the can up for Scully to see. Its label reads, potted meat. Scully, yummy. From deeper within the house comes the unmistakable sound of a shotgun racking. Mulder and Scully spin to face around, their guns drawn. Standing in the narrow hallway, holding a shotgun in shaky hands, is a rotundish man with a bushy, unkempt beard, wild, feral eyes. He has the crazed look of someone who hasn't slept for a long, long time. Scully, FBI, drop it. The bearded man complies, though more out of fatigue than obedience. He looks at Mulder. Bearded man, Agent Mulder. Shocked. Ricky Smith? Ricky Smith nods. Wasted and apparently exhausted, he bears little resemblance to the arrogant SOB from the crime scene videos. Mulder, what happened to you? You don't really want to know. He drops into a chair. What brings you out here to the middle of nowhere? It's Larry Johnson. He's dead, says Scully. The wry smile. That lucky bastard, says Ricky Smith. end of Act 1. So exciting. So exciting, isn't it? If you're an X-Files fan, even though you have to deal with my inability to string together words sometimes and, you know, just syntax, it's hard sometimes, you know. It doesn't take much, I mean, personally speaking, it doesn't take much to source the motivation to just project these images into the mind's eye. And those images form a very cohesive narrative. And it is one that is distinctly something that translates to an X-Files episode like so well. I talked about some of the analysis that I would do, but I actually think I'm going to save that for when we get a little bit farther in. But needless to say, the elements of, you know, this strange deja vu, this mystery line that seems like it's an incarnation of almost death, if you will. It's like, do you want all these answers to existence? Well, you gotta die to get it. And all the people who died, like Larry Johnson and that woman, they are showing signs through their pupils that they're somehow still alive. And that POV of Larry Johnson, it shows that he's watching them as they leave the room. So, yeah, again, to the point of Ligotti remarking on, like, the weird antithetical way in which death robs us of life, not only to ourselves, but to those around us. And maybe even robs them of life too. You know, anyone who's experienced profound grief or seen someone go through it knows what I'm talking about. There's nothing more tragic about someone dying than people wasting their lives in pain over that death. I see it happen all the time, but yeah, the spatial distortions, this unplaceable deja vu type phenomenon that's happening, it's kind of speaking to, in the context of this show, how they have been here before. If this was made into an episode, they have been here before because they were here in the script. They were there in all those retakes they did while filming it, if it was, you know, made. So hypothetically speaking, but it also touches on our profound discomfort when it comes to broaching existential issues, you know, particularly death, our worth when we're alive, so on and so forth. As I said, I'm not going to get super heavy into the analysis just yet, but yeah, so that's the end of Act 1, and trust me, it keeps getting better, so stay tuned. Anyways, thanks for helping me sublimate, because I've been in a lot of fucking pain and distress lately, and just insomniacking like fucking crazy, so I do appreciate it. And also, you know, I'm trying to quit smoking on top of all of this, so it's, you're doing me a service, I'll say that much. I appreciate it. So, yeah, if you're a fan of this kind of thing, which I hope you are, let me know, because I certainly want to keep reading the rest of this. And there are other scripts that haven't been realized and that they haven't made that transition to the big screen, like Shane Carruth's The Topiary, which, once you read those scripts, like the script for A Topiary, it's like, God, what a loss for all of us. Yeah, as far as I can tell, no one's actually read the Crampton script on YouTube, so I'm happy to be the first, even though I'm clearly not the best at narrating, well, words out loud without my ADD handling my ability to convey them very well, and also my lack of acting skill probably doesn't help either, but I'm trying, okay? So, yeah, stay tuned. Love you. Bye.